You must know many people who just show off about their wealth, status, and their achievement. They always try to impress others and want to get ahead of themselves. What does Stoicism teaches us in this regard? In the letter 5 of Seneca, Seneca begins by commending and advising to live according to nature and finding balance. Living simply means appreciating what is essential and natural without overindulgence. It involves understanding our true needs and differentiating them from our desires. For example, food and shelter are necessities, while opulent meals and grandiose homes are desires. Embracing simplicity means satisfying our needs in a way that is healthy and sufficient without striving for extravagance. One crucial aspect that Stoic points out is that simple living does not necessitate the rejection of basic standards of cleanliness and comfort. Cleanliness is not a luxury but a fundamental aspect of maintaining health and well-being. Seneca argues that there is no virtue in adopting a filthy lifestyle under the guise of simplicity. Instead, we should maintain a reasonable level of hygiene and comfort, which allows us to live healthily and contentedly without slipping into the extremes of asceticism. Seneca uses the example of food to illustrate his point about rational simplicity versus irrational austerity. While it is wise to avoid excessive delicacies that lead to dependency and indulgence, it is irrational to reject ordinary, inexpensive foods that are nutritious and satisfying. The goal is to avoid the extremes of both luxury and deprivation. Enjoying a simple, wholesome meal aligns with the principles of Stoicism, as it satisfies our natural needs without leading to excess or indulgence. Another critical point Seneca makes is about the motivation behind our lifestyle choices. True simplicity is modest and does not seek attention. If a person adopts an austere lifestyle merely to attract admiration or to appear virtuous, they are not genuinely living simply. This performative austerity is a form of self-torture that serves vanity rather than philosophical integrity. A simple life should be lived quietly and genuinely, without the need for external validation or spectacle. Living simply brings mental clarity and peace. When we are not constantly pursuing luxury or struggling against deprivation, our minds are free to focus on more meaningful pursuits. This balanced approach allows us to cultivate inner peace, as we are not distracted by the constant demands of either excess or want. By practicing rational simplicity, we become more resilient and self-sufficient. We learn to appreciate and make do with what we have, which builds strength and adaptability. This resilience is crucial in times of adversity, as it allows us to remain content and resourceful regardless of our external circumstances. Applying Seneca's teachings involves a careful assessment of our true needs versus our desires. We should strive to meet our needs in a way that is natural and sufficient, avoiding both excess and deprivation. This means providing ourselves with adequate nourishment, shelter, and comfort, while avoiding the pitfalls of luxury and extravagance. One crucial aspect that Stoic points out is that simple living does not necessitate the rejection of basic standards of cleanliness and comfort. Cleanliness is not a luxury, but a fundamental aspect of maintaining health and well-being. Seneca argues that there is no virtue in adopting a filthy lifestyle under the guise of simplicity. Instead, we should maintain a reasonable level of hygiene and comfort, which allows us to live healthily and contentedly without slipping into the extremes of asceticism. Seneca uses the example of food to illustrate his point about rational simplicity versus irrational austerity. While it is wise to avoid excessive delicacies that lead to dependency and indulgence, it is irrational to reject ordinary, inexpensive foods that are nutritious and satisfying. The goal is to avoid the extremes of both luxury and deprivation. Enjoying a simple, wholesome meal aligns with the principles of Stoicism, as it satisfies our natural needs without leading to excess or indulgence. Another critical point Seneca makes is about the motivation behind our lifestyle choices. True simplicity is modest and does not seek attention. If a person adopts an austere lifestyle merely to attract admiration or to appear virtuous, they are not genuinely living simply. This performative austerity is a form of self-torture that serves vanity rather than philosophical integrity. A simple life should be lived quietly and genuinely, without the need for external validation or spectacle. Living simply brings mental clarity and peace. When we are not constantly pursuing luxury or struggling against deprivation, our minds are free to focus on more meaningful pursuits. This balanced approach allows us to cultivate inner peace, as we are not distracted by the constant demands of either excess or want. Seneca's distinction between simple living and self-torture offers a timeless lesson in balance and moderation. True simplicity lies in understanding and meeting our natural needs without indulging in excess or inflicting unnecessary hardship upon ourselves. By living modestly and mindfully, we can achieve a state of contentment and inner peace that aligns with the Stoic ideal of living according to nature. This approach not only enhances our well-being, but also fosters resilience, self-sufficiency, and genuine happiness. Seneca offers his advice on how to live a life grounded in philosophical principles without falling into the traps of ostentation or extremism. The essence of his guidance revolves around the concept of inner transformation, while maintaining an outward appearance that conforms reasonably to societal norms. Seneca begins by commending Lucilius. Lucilius here can be considered someone who is dedicated to self-improvement through self-improvement. He appreciates everyone's commitment to his studies and his effort to become a better person each day. Seneca emphasizes the importance of perseverance in this endeavor, urging everyone to continue this path since it is the ultimate salvation. In his letter to everyone, Seneca provides advice on the importance of genuine self-improvement over mere attention-seeking behaviors. A significant part of his counsel focuses on avoiding pretentious displays that might attract attention for the wrong reasons. Seneca criticizes certain behaviors that, rather than demonstrating true philosophical living, seem more like attempts to advertise one's lifestyle. By dissecting these points in detail, we can gain a deeper understanding of how to live authentically and avoid the pitfalls of superficiality. One of the behaviors Seneca do not entertain is the wearing of shabby clothes. In the context of Stoic philosophy, simplicity and minimalism are valued. However, Seneca warns against taking this to the extreme. Dressing in overly shabby attire can be seen as a deliberate attempt to draw attention. The intention behind wearing worn-out clothes should not be to showcase one's disdain for material wealth, but to reflect a genuine indifference to luxury. Seneca believes that true simplicity does not need to announce itself loudly through one's appearance. When someone dresses in a way that is excessively shabby, it often leads others to focus more on the outward display rather than the individual's inner virtues. This can attract ridicule and criticism rather than respect and admiration. By striking a balance in attire, being neither too gaudy nor too dowdy, one can avoid this pitfall and embody simplicity in a more authentic manner. Stoicism also points out the issue of maintaining an unkempt appearance, such as long hair and an unshaven beard. While these might be seen as signs of a philosopher's detachment from societal norms and material concerns, Seneca argues that they can instead become distractions. An unkempt appearance can draw unnecessary attention and comments, shifting the focus from one's philosophical practices to one's physical looks. In essence, Seneca is saying that philosophy should be about cultivating the mind and soul, not about outward displays that set one apart from others in a superficial way. He believes that by maintaining a reasonably neat appearance, a philosopher can integrate more seamlessly into society, thereby making their teachings and example more accessible and relatable to others. Another behavior that we should criticize is the outspoken disdain for material possessions such as silverware. He argues that rejecting such items in a public or pretentious manner is counterproductive. The goal of philosophical living is to achieve inner peace and virtue, not to make a spectacle of one's lifestyle choices. When someone goes out of their way to disdain common items, it can come across as a bid for attention rather than a genuine preference for simplicity. Seneca believes that true detachment from material possessions should be inward and personal. It is not necessary to broadcast one's rejection of wealth and luxury. Instead, one should quietly and humbly embody these values, allowing others to see the benefits of a simpler life without feeling judged or alienated. This approach fosters respect and curiosity rather than ridicule and defensiveness. Stoicism extends other misguided means of self-advertisement, such as sleeping on the ground or engaging in other extreme ascetic practices. These actions, rather than promoting a philosophical way of life, often serve to alienate and repel others. The very name of philosophy, Seneca notes, is already unpopular enough. If philosophers were to further dissociate themselves from societal conventions, they would only increase the public's aversion to philosophical teachings. Seneca emphasizes that philosophy should be about inward transformation and self-improvement, not about outward displays that set one apart from society in a negative way. By avoiding extreme behaviors, philosophers can better connect with others and demonstrate the practical benefits of their teachings. Seneca advocates for a balance between conforming to societal norms and maintaining distinct philosophical principles. He argues that while one's inner life should be different, outward appearances should conform reasonably with the crowd. This does not mean abandoning one's principles, but rather presenting them in a way that is relatable and understandable to others. Seneca suggests that clothes should not be gaudy, but also not excessively plain. Similarly, one should not indulge in luxurious items, but also not make a show of rejecting them. This balanced approach helps in living a life that is both admirable and relatable, encouraging others to follow philosophical teachings without feeling alienated. Moderation is a key theme in Seneca's advice. Stoic believes that living a life of extreme simplicity can often backfire, causing more harm than good. By living in a manner that is not diametrically opposed to popular morality, but rather slightly better, one can inspire others to adopt similar practices. Extreme behaviors can repel and alienate people, making them reluctant to imitate any aspect of the philosopher's life. On the other hand, a moderate and balanced approach can make philosophical living more attractive and attainable. People should admire the philosopher's way of life and find it understandable, not off-putting. Seneca's motto to live in conformity with nature further underscores the importance of avoiding extreme behaviors. He argues that it is contrary to nature to torture one's body, reject cleanliness, or adopt a revolting diet. Simple living, according to Seneca, does not mean living in deprivation or squalor. It calls for a life of moderation and balance, where one's needs are met without excess. Just as craving for luxuries indicates extravagant living, avoiding familiar and inexpensive foods signals insanity. Philosophy should promote a simple yet refined way of life, not one that is crude or repellent. The psychological benefits of living a moderate life through Stoicism is tough but very rewarding. Stoic introduces an idea from the Stoic writer Hecato, who suggests that limiting one's desires helps to reduce fear. Hope and fear are intertwined because they both stem from anticipation of the future. By focusing on the present and curbing excessive desires, one can alleviate the anxiety that comes from worrying about future events. This idea highlights the importance of living in the moment and not letting future uncertainties disturb one's peace of mind. Excessive behaviors, whether in pursuit of luxury or asceticism, often arise from a restless mind. By adopting a balanced and moderate approach, one can achieve greater inner peace and stability. Seneca's advice to everyone on avoiding pretentious behavior is rooted in the principles of moderation, balance, and genuine self-improvement. He cautions against behaviors that seek attention rather than reflecting true philosophical living. By avoiding extreme actions and maintaining a balanced outward appearance, one can live a life that is both admirable and relatable. This approach fosters respect and curiosity, making philosophical teachings more accessible and appealing to others. Seneca's guidance remains relevant today, offering valuable insights into how to live a life of philosophical integrity without falling into the traps of superficiality and ostentation. In his letters, Seneca provides a wealth of guidance on how to live a life that is both philosophically sound and socially acceptable. One of the central themes he explores is the importance of striking a balance between philosophical idealism and popular morality. This balance is crucial in ensuring that the philosopher's way of life is not only admirable, but also relatable to others. By living in a manner that others can understand and respect, philosophers can inspire improvement without alienating those around them. This approach also helps prevent philosophers from appearing hypocritical or insincere. Stoicism emphasizes that the philosopher's life should be relatable. Philosophers often pursue lofty ideals, aiming for a high level of moral and ethical conduct. However, if their lifestyle is too radically different from the societal norm, it can create a barrier between them and others. When people see a philosopher living in extreme simplicity or engaging in behaviors that starkly contrast with common practices, they might feel intimidated or alienated. Instead of being inspired, they might view the philosopher's lifestyle as unattainable or eccentric. To avoid this, Seneca advises philosophers to adopt a way of life that is understandable and accessible. By conforming to societal norms in certain outward aspects, while maintaining philosophical integrity inwardly, philosophers can present their teachings in a more appealing manner. This balance makes it easier for others to see the benefits of philosophical living and feel motivated to emulate it in their own lives. Another critical aspect of Seneca's advice is the need to avoid hypocrisy and insincerity. Philosophers who adopt extreme behaviors to showcase their detachment from material possessions or societal norms can come across as insincere. If their actions appear to be more about attracting attention or demonstrating their superiority rather than genuine self-improvement, it undermines their credibility. Such behaviors can be perceived as hypocritical, especially if the philosopher's private life does not align with their public persona. By living a balanced life that does not seek to attract undue attention, philosophers can maintain their authenticity. Seneca suggests that true philosophical living should be marked by modesty and simplicity, but without making a spectacle of it. This approach helps philosophers avoid the pitfalls of hypocrisy and ensures that their actions are seen as genuine expressions of their beliefs. One of the ultimate goals of philosophical living, according to Seneca, is to inspire others to improve themselves. By presenting a balanced and relatable lifestyle, philosophers can serve as role models for those around them. When people see that it is possible to live virtuously without rejecting the comforts and norms of society, they are more likely to be inspired to adopt similar practices. Seneca believes that the philosopher's role is not to set themselves apart from society, but to engage with it in a meaningful way. By living in accordance with both philosophical ideals and societal expectations, philosophers can bridge the gap between the two, making their teachings more relevant and impactful. Seneca's guidance on balancing idealism and popular morality provides a timeless framework for living a life of philosophical integrity. By avoiding extremes and focusing on relatability, philosophers can inspire others without alienating them. This balanced approach helps prevent hypocrisy and ensures that philosophical teachings are seen as practical and attainable. Ultimately, Seneca's advice encourages philosophers to engage with society in a meaningful way, demonstrating that a virtuous life is both possible and desirable within the context of everyday living. Stoic believes that true greatness is demonstrated by how one treats their possessions regardless of their value. Treating simple earthenware with the same respect as valuable silverware, and vice versa, shows inner stability and wisdom. This inner excellence is more important than any outward display of wealth or poverty. Another light that Stoicism adds is it introduces an insightful observation from the Stoic writer Hecato, who posits that limiting one's desires helps to mitigate fear. Hope and fear are interconnected because they both stem from an anticipation of the future. By focusing on the present and curbing excessive desires, one can reduce the anxiety that comes from worrying about future events. This idea highlights the importance of living in the moment and not letting future uncertainties disturb one's peace of mind. While foresight is a powerful human ability, it can also be a source of significant distress. Unlike animals that only fear immediate dangers, humans are troubled by both past regrets and future anxieties. This constant preoccupation with what has happened or what might happen leads to continuous mental unrest. Seneca observes that many of our blessings can become sources of harm when they bring back memories of fear or project future anxieties prematurely. This insight underscores the need to confine one's concerns to the present, as past and future worries only exacerbate unhappiness. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, delves into the intricacies of human psychology and the profound impact of foresight on our mental well-being. Foresight, the ability to anticipate and plan for the future, is often celebrated as one of humanity's greatest gifts. However, Seneca cautions that this very ability can also be a source of significant distress. Unlike animals which only respond to immediate threats, humans are burdened by both past regrets and future anxieties. This constant preoccupation with what has happened or what might happen leads to continuous mental unrest, highlighting the complexity of human consciousness. Foresight allows humans to prepare for future challenges and avoid potential dangers. It enables us to plan, strategize, and make informed decisions that enhance our survival and well-being. This ability to look ahead and anticipate future events is a cornerstone of human advancement, contributing to our ability to build civilizations, create art, and pursue scientific knowledge. However, Seneca points out that this same foresight can turn into a source of misery. The human mind, with its capacity to dwell on the past and project into the future, often finds itself caught in a web of worries. We replay past mistakes and failures, experiencing the associated emotions repeatedly. At the same time, we project our fears and hopes into the future, imagining scenarios that may never come to pass. This dual burden of past and future can lead to a state of constant mental unrest. Animals live in the present moment, reacting to immediate threats and opportunities without the burden of past regrets or future anxieties. Once a danger has passed, they move on, free from lingering fear or anticipation. In contrast, humans are capable of complex thought processes that allow us to reflect on our experiences and anticipate future events. While this capacity is a remarkable aspect of our cognitive abilities, it also makes us uniquely susceptible to mental distress. Seneca observes that humans are tormented by both what has already occurred and what might occur. Past experiences, especially those involving fear or pain, leave a lasting impression on our minds. These memories can resurface at any time, bringing back the associated emotions and exacerbating our present unhappiness. Similarly, our ability to imagine future scenarios often leads to anxiety and fear about events that may never actually happen. Seneca's insight that many of our blessings can become sources of harm is particularly poignant. He suggests that the very abilities and advantages that set humans apart from other animals can also contribute to our suffering. Memory, which allows us to learn from past experiences and build upon our knowledge, can also trap us in cycles of regret and sorrow. Foresight, which enables us to plan and prepare for the future, can similarly imprison us in a state of perpetual anxiety. This dual nature of our cognitive abilities underscores the complexity of the human condition. While foresight and memory are essential for our growth and survival, they can also lead to significant psychological distress when misused or overindulged. The key, according to Seneca, is to find a balance that allows us to benefit from these abilities without becoming overwhelmed by them. The need to focus on the present. To mitigate the distress caused by past and future concerns, Seneca advocates for a focus on the present moment. By confining our concerns to the here and now, we can reduce the mental burden imposed by past regrets and future anxieties. This does not mean ignoring our past experiences or neglecting to plan for the future. Rather, it involves cultivating a mindful awareness of the present, acknowledging our thoughts and feelings without becoming overly attached to them. Living in the present moment allows us to appreciate the immediate reality of our lives, free from the distortions of memory and imagination. It helps us to respond to current challenges with clarity and calmness without the added weight of past and future worries. This mindful approach can lead to greater emotional stability and a deeper sense of peace. Seneca highlights the interconnectedness of hope and fear, advocating for a focus on the present to reduce anxiety. By following these principles, one can lead a life that is both admirable and relatable, inspiring others without alienating them. Seneca's counsel remains relevant today, providing valuable insights for those seeking to live a life of philosophical integrity and balance.